vent or not to vent? That is the question. In case we haven't met yet, I'm Jess Exco. I'm the sole founder of Life and Confidence. And the thing about venting is it really effective? And in what capacity and shape and way? And who should you be venting to? So I remembered that when a friend in the past has all of a sudden vented and dumped his problems on me, thought it would be a good idea to get stuff off his chest so he can feel better. But in fact, it didn't really. And I also expressed my boundaries around that hey, I'm not here to be a dumping ground for your problems. And I'm not interested in rescuing you or saving you from your own misery. The thing about venting is, when we vent to our friends, which is so easy to do, and I'm very mindful when I vent, I would only condense it in a really short story and get straight to the point with what's bothering me. And when a friend is able to show compassion, I don't really need to vent anymore, or I don't really need to engage in that story anymore because I felt like I was being seen and heard. But when you're venting in a way where you go into this repetitive spiral, you get so caught up in your own shitstorm and you're engaging and collapsing into your victimization, that's when it's unhealthy, because you're allowing that to be your own identity and reality. And no one can save you from that, not even Tony Robbins or the best therapists out there, but you. So you need to take personal responsibility for your own pain and suffering. So how can venting be effective, and who should you vent to? So some people vent to their therapist or a psychologist, and some people may feel better and some people may not. And for those who may not feel better, it's because they're engaging in their head. They haven't successfully released the story, the suffering, the trauma, because we hold it on all levels, not just psychologically, but also emotionally, in our physical bodies, right? Our body is always communicating to us where we're feeling the aches and tightness and pain and where we should pay attention to, because a certain part of your body holds a certain part of trauma and emotion which tells a story about your past, right? And what you've neglected or not paying attention to until you hit a crisis, and that's when you really pay attention and do something about it. So we also hold trauma in our nervous system energetically, right? This fight and flight mode. So this is why venting is not effective for those who go and see a therapist or a psychologist and they don't get much out of it, or dumping their problems onto their friends and their friends don't say anything about it. They just keep allowing it to happen, or they're very dismissive of it. So that's where you're not getting the right support, and that friend isn't giving you honest feedback in how you're showing up for yourself. So when this friend dumped his problems on me without even asking me how I was quite straight to the point and dismissive, because I was exhausted and I had a bad fall from falling on the pavement where my body is sore and I was in a lot of pain with my foot. I thought I broke my toe, and thank God I didn't, and it's taking a while to heal. So he never thought to ask me how I was before he even shared or continued to share his problems with me. And so it's really important to tune in with your friends, or at least engage with them, to know when's the right time to share your problems with them. If you know your friend is going through a lot of stress, they're depleted, exhausted, that is not the right time to share your problems with that person, because it's not going to be well received. And that person will not have the emotional capacity to hold space for you. Just exactly what has happened with me. And so I've taken on his energy, his problems, his mental clutter, and that manifested itself where I actually fell on the pavement because I was in my head getting caught up with his problems because he was venting to me the day before, during the evening, before I went to sleep. And he vented again the next day. So that was my mistake by listening to his problems before I went to bed. And I was in a really high vibe state in the evening. And so the next day, I felt like absolute shit because I took on his energy and I took it with me to bed. That was the worst thing. So what I've learned from this venting experience is to create healthy boundaries with that person, that I'm not going to accept you venting at me, you dumping your problems at me, because it's not a nice energy to take on. I'm happy to hear your struggles if you take personal accountability for your own suffering. Then I'm able to hold space for you. Because people who are so caught up in their victimization would take advantage of your energetic container. They would just want more and more and more of your energy and more and more and more of your time and attention, demanding it, because they're not able to give that to themselves. So it's really important with big venters, you need to create a really strong boundary with that person. And it's not your job to be accommodating to their response. You can choose how you want to take that response. And that person can choose how they want to take on your feedback. So yes, it's a great test in your friendship. So if you are a venter, or if you struggle to express your problems, the best way that I have found when it comes to venting is actually venting to myself. And the reason why is I can say whatever I want and I can just get it all out in the open, in the safety and the comfort of my own home where no one is judging me, because I'm venting at myself. Because we can wear a mask and cover our shame around how we're feeling when it comes to a therapist. We're not completely 100% ourselves with them. But when you're at home by yourself, you can be 100% authentic with yourself. So I love venting out my problems in my sacred space, and I could say whatever I want about my thoughts around this person or towards myself and get it out of my system. And this venting session may go on for a couple of days. It may go on for a week. However long it needs for me to get it out. And I will do some trauma release work with myself to get that trigger and that emotional pain out of my system. So for those who have worked with me privately, you will know the techniques that I shared with you to do that in your sacred space. But if you really struggle with releasing trauma, I highly recommend that you seek a highly experienced mentor who has successfully come out of it the other side. Not through academia or qualifications, but through professional and personal experience. So, venting. How can you create a sacred process when it comes to venting? First of all, give yourself permission to vent out how you really feel about the person who has caused you pain, whether it's yourself or the other person. Just really get there. I fucking hate you. You piss me off. All you do is think about yourself. What about me? What about my needs? So let's start with that. Let's work with that, right? Let's get real. Let's get the shadow part of yourself out first. And then once you're able to let go and purge the anger, the disappointment, the resentment, the regret, then you cleared up your energetic container and it becomes neutral. Then you can start cultivating a practice where you can start to see the blessing in this experience, or the blessing in that person, or the blessing within yourself. What did you actually gain from this experience? There's a reason why that you've engaged with this person for a reason. Doesn't matter what they did to you, but you engage with them. It takes two people to tango, right? To make a relationship happen. So there's something that you felt drawn to interact with that person, to engage with that person. So what are you getting out of it? What's the lesson and the gift in it for you? And once you are able to see the gift and find the gratitude and appreciation for that person, that relationship, that experience, what it has taught you about yourself, how you can mature and grow and evolve from this, then you can forgive that person. I forgive you for not being perfect. I forgive you that this is the best that you can do for me. I forgive you that you're in so much pain and suffering. I forgive you for avoiding me. I forgive you for not wanting to spend time with me. I forgive you for where you're at in life. And I set you free, and I let you go, and I say goodbye. And through that 3-step experience, that has really helped me to shift the way I see myself and others, because it has opened up my eyes to see my own self-worth and to see people where they're at rather than judging them for it. So the 3 steps is venting out in your sacred space in your home, getting all of the heaviness out of your system through venting, through trauma release. And the second step is, what is the gift and the lessons? What's the goodness that this person has brought you into your life? Because there is, despite the traumatic experiences or the suffering or the abuse or whatever it was, despite all that, right? There is goodness from this experience that can teach you how to mature, to grow up, to wake up to yourself. And the third thing is to let them go through forgiveness. And when you've forgiven that person from your heart, not from your head, from your heart, then you can say goodbye. And that's when it's over. And you start to feel that the emotional pain or suffering has minimized or is no longer there. And time to time you'll get those thoughts, and that's very normal. But you need to take personal accountability to reprogram your mind through affirmations, loving thoughts towards yourself and towards the other person. So if you feel you're ready to take the next step in transforming your trauma and live your best life this year, come and join me for my ceremonial experiences via Zoom or face-to-face, or come along to one of my trauma recovery workshops. You can click on the link below to learn more and reserve a spot. If you suffer from social anxiety and you're not ready to join me in a group setting, you might want to consider downloading my light language audios to start clearing trauma in the comfort of your own home and treat it like a healing session. So you can click on the link below to learn more about my different light language audios. And if you feel you got something out of this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, give it a like, share it with your loved ones, and comment below what you got out of it. May this serves you, my love, and may you be truly blessed with so much love, joy, freedom, and reverence in your heart, in your mind, in your body, and in your life.